Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And I have a lot of information to go over in this video. We are going to be talking about the BIS, the IMF, the World Bank, and many other organizations. As we go back in time to February of 2017, we've seen this framework get posted by the BIS, and this is DLT in Payment Clearing and Settlement, Committee on Payments and Market Infrastructures. Now, this is a great insight on the plans even then. Today, more than ever, we know that the BIS is running a lot of plans and experiments around DLTs. We know from research that, listen, it's 100% confirmed at this point that DLT and blockchain technology is the future. It is the future, and payments, and I say all payments, anything of value as well, will be moved over DLT and digital rails. Now, the biggest problem that I see around this market is a lot of people are blinded by other nonsense. For an example, here is January of 2021, right? This is a month after the lawsuit against Ripple and XRP. We do see distributed ledgers and the governance of money. Here's the summary, the focus point, right? Blockchain technology breathes new life into the classical analysis of money as memory, i.e. as a substitute for a ledger of all past transactions where holding money is a record of goods sold and services rendered. DLT is a record-keeping device that has no need for a central authority to support trading. But can it do so more efficiently and robustly than a traditional centralized exchange? And how can a balance be struck between decentralization, a robust consensus, and adequate transaction flow as set out in Buterein's blockchain trilemma? Now, of course, they're talking about Ethereum. Again, another big problem that I see around the space is everyone thinks that's going to be Bitcoin or it's going to be Ethereum. It's not. Here's a few findings down here between a few things. Ultimately speaking, it's still just talking about the potential of DLT within the financial system. As we look at today more than ever, we know that a lot of trials are underway. We know that CBDCs are becoming a big deal. We know that tokenization is a spotlighted subject now. And almost every single major entity out there around the financial system is getting ready. They are prepared. Like I said, I strongly believe that's already been 100% confirmed by these entities that the future is DLT and blockchain technology. Now, recently, we know that on April 19th of this year, the BIS and the Bank of England concluded a DLT settlements pilot. This was the synchronization between their RTGS systems, real-time gross settlement systems. This is at the heart of the Bank of England. This was with Project Meridian, which we did talk about, right? We discussed this quite a bit in the past. We've addressed a few things around this. We even do see synchronization can provide a catalyst for innovation in wholesale payments and support the emergence of new payments infrastructures that settle using central bank money. What's interesting about this is that if you go back in time, the Bank of England has concluded a few trials with Ripple on synchronization of the RTGS system, which again, you know, are we saying that this is Ripple? Are we saying that XRP will be utilized here? No. But I'm just saying that it is a possibility that Ripple could be tied back to this. We know that synchronization between CBDCs has already been solved with Ripple's solution, which is definitely interesting to see what's happening here. But also, mind you, Ripple with Hong Kong. Recently, Ripple made a huge step into Hong Kong and even the UAE. And we even do see down here that in October of 2022, the bank reported that a CBDC pilot involving the central banks of Hong Kong, Thailand, China, and the UAE was successful after a month-long test facilitating $22 million in cross-border transactions. So again, a lot of these tests are happening in some pretty big areas that Ripple's also involved in. Again, does that solidify that Ripple is going to be utilized here? Not necessarily, but I do think that the connections should still be highlighted, and I think that we should pay attention to them because all of these connections are still significant in my opinion. And then also, recently, June 16th, the BIS and the Bank of England complete CBDC trial using blockchain technology. Again, solidifying the fact that blockchain technology is here to stay. Blockchain technology is the future. Crypto is going to be here forever. Whether that be, you know, in financial systems or not, We already know that the regulators are trying to push as many people out of this space as possible right now, and it has been working for a while. In my opinion, shakeouts are going to continue to be the main focus point. They're going to try to still sell the idea that crypto is one big scam, that you should get out of it. But I want you all to understand that you should 100% stay in the space, research and understand what's happening as well. But this was with APIs, and we actually kind of connected this back to Quant because they even solidified the fact that Quant was being utilized here. We do see down here, Quant's overledger technology was used for multiple central bank ledger simulations and to enable the testing of the APIs with the two distributed ledgers. UST was the technology consultant. And we already know that through Quant, the XRP ledger is tied to Quant's overledger, so they could utilize the XRP ledger with CBDCs and things like that through API connections, which again is why I say pay attention to the names here. Quant is a big player. Now, with the BIS and the Bank of England, we know that Ripple has been connected to these two entities for a while, but just recently we've seen Brooks Entwistle on June 28th, actually of this year, wrapping up several weeks on the road repping Ripple. And here we have with, this is that 0.0 forum, this was from June 26th through the 28th, collaborating to deliver payment system innovations. And who's this hosted by? The BIS. Again, as we look at what's happening here, Ripple has already made the major connections. Ripple's already connected to all of these big entities like the BIS. We are seeing major innovations happening around our financial system, and the global monetary system as we know it is about to be shaken up. I've talked about this as well in the past. Now, a lot of you have said in the comments, and I get it, right? I understand. A lot of you have said in the comments, Nick, we've been waiting forever. What the hell is going on? And I want you guys to understand that, listen, we're talking about the global monetary system here. This takes time. But when it does happen, it's going to feel like it happened overnight, because when we look at the wealth creation from this, if you are in this for the long term, if you are numb to the manipulation and numb to the price, fluctuations, then you are going to be very successful. I've said it, and I've compared this space back to the internet boom and the technology booms before that as well. We are at one of the largest points in history, and crypto is at the center of it. Now, it's not going to be all crypto. No, we're going to have a regulatory wipeout of all the trash in this space. But what will rise after that is the utility tokens. And the utility tokens of tomorrow that will be utilized heavily, I've addressed them. I've talked about them. And XRP is one of them, in my opinion. And also, remember, just recently on June 28th, from Brooks Entwistle again, he was speaking at the Inclusive FinTech Forum, sitting right next to Circle, Swift, Thunes, Mohaloop, and AD Little. These are some very large companies. But I don't need to tell you guys that because you already know about Swift. Most of you already know about Thunes as well. And of course, Circle, big name in the space. And then of course, Mohaloop. AD Little, we kind of broke down a little bit in the past, but they're not that significant. But they're talking about crypto's huge potential to solve for payments interoperability globally. Pay attention to the names here. And just recently, I went over on Twitter and I posted a few things. So I said, very interesting document from the IMF regarding reserve currencies in an evolving international monetary system. Again, solidifying that there is a major shift happening here. Some key findings are the fact that variations in regulatory frameworks will lead to fragmentation in currency use. The number one thing I have said is that the SEC is weightless. They will not provide regulations for crypto. It will be a global harmonized approach. The FSB, the BIS, the IMF are all working on this with the G20 as we speak. The next interesting finding is payment systems. It directly states that new payment systems and some existing ones may offer the opportunity to settle in multiple currencies, reducing the need for vehicle and invoicing currencies going forward and moving the IMS, the International Monetary System, towards decentralization. And I said, remember that XRP and XLM have been mentioned in many IMF documents for their potential to be utilized as a bridge currency for settlements in multiple currencies. These are two decentralized currencies as well, which could move the IMS towards a more decentralized position like they mentioned. Last but not least, they do go on to mention the acceleration of digitization and innovations around this sector. The best part about these documents isn't necessarily the connections to any particular assets, but the confirmation of the disruption behind them. And yes, it's 100% confirming the fact that as we look at crypto and we look at a few of these assets, they are shaking up the global monetary system. I said we are getting closer each day. We still have a journey ahead of us, but I strongly believe that we will be on the right side of history. And yes, all of these documents are so crucial. And I am going to go into what Utility Theory did respond back to me, because he responded with a ton of information. The rest of this video, you're going to want to stay until the rest of this video because there's so much information here. I also did post, I made a video on this actually just recently. The dollar is dead. The US is doomed. That's what the headline articles are telling you right now. The perfect problem and the perfect solution is being presented to the world all at once. The problem, 99% of the general public is being distracted. Yes, they are. I said there are significant projects / solutions in this space that could easily make the global monetary system a lot more efficient and bring about a technological revolution like no other. I strongly believe that de-dollarization, use of other settlement currencies / systems, BRICS expanding and developing new currencies is all an accelerant for the new system to rise. Very similar to how COVID was an accelerant to push back against the physical currencies. And I said here, focus on the major connections with the IMF, XRP, XDC, XLM. Blockchain / DLT are going to be utilized. Some already are. But without scale. They are preparing. The infrastructure is being built. And yes, here you guys have that document that I talked about in that video. There is a ton of information in these documents. And these are articles, actually. These are articles written on the IMF. Again, as we do look at what's happening here, I believe that the IMF is at the heart of this. And when we go back to all those documents, XRP and XLM are the major two assets always mentioned. Also, going back to what Utility Theory did respond to me, he responded back with the World Bank Group article, which I've talked about in many videos in the past. This is that document mentioning XRP and XLM as stablecoins. And we do see nice find. The nations are evolving the currencies of the world, and some decentralized ones are at the part, are a part of the new system. Sorry. Here is a World Bank document that showcases XRP and XLM for cross-border stablecoins. And yes, I've talked about this many times in the past. Again, the craziest thing about this is that almost nobody looks into the information behind a lot of these documents. They don't care to. A lot of people don't want to read these documents. They just want to read, what they want to be told, which is, hey, guess what? XRP is going to go here. Pay attention to these significant connections. These are showcasing you a perfect scenario of DLT, XRP, XLM, the major currencies that are being mentioned within these documents. They're solidified in history as significant pieces of the puzzle. And we even do see World Bank mentions lack of interoperability, but there are two great solutions for that. Quant Network Overledger solution, and of course the Interledger Protocol, the ILP, with XRP and Ripple. And we do see non-CBDC cross-border payment models. This is where they mention XRP and XLM. And here you guys have stablecoins for cross-border payments. We've talked about this. XRP, cross-border interbanking payments, micropayments, CBDC, federated sidechains. And then we have XLM, retail payments. Again, I've always talked about how these two are significant players around B2B and also even P2P. I point out the terms digital currency because there is a huge difference between a security and a digital asset / currency. Example, Japan clarified XRP is a digital asset, not a security. Japan equals winning in regulatory clarity. USA, unorganized and failing because of the SEC. Again, I talked to you guys about, the real plan behind the scene. I do believe that lawsuit and everything around regulations is kind of just to shake things up around the retail sector and make sure people are kind of staying away from a few of these assets, XRP being the major one. The World Bank makes a huge outdated mistake. There are currently 150 validator nodes, 900 nodes in total. Ripple only controls 5 out of 39 nodes on the default UNL, roughly 5% of the total nodes. We got some myth busting to do with the World Bank. I highlighted XRP acts as a bridge currency, so I could show you these diagrams for your visualization and also tell the SEC there is no such thing as a bridge security that can source liquidity across the globe whenever necessary. And yep, I agree fully. There are mentions of XLM. We do see mentions XLM's Barclays Africa and Deloitte Pilot boasts cheap transaction fees. XLM acts as a retail bridge currency between global jurisdictions. SDX is borderless and not subject to jurisdictional controls or frictions. World Bank wrong. XRP is decentralized. And here we have cross-border payments are broken with correspondent banking, slow, expensive, no end-to-end tracking, fragmented payment systems worldwide, Nasho Vasho account trapped to liquidity. Some diagrams below, no XRP is almost the same as the XRP comparison chart. And yes, it is. As we do look at this, like here you guys have a few things around this. So here you guys have the sending country, receiving country, international bank wires. This is the breakdown of it. Then over here, utility theory comparison, XRP ledger versus the Swift. And this is from, of course, utility theory. And then down here, World Bank expansion of DLT-based payment protocols appear to be yielding promising results. Emerging trend that blockchain is here to stay. Internet layer for payment services. Example, from my mind map of ILP as a layer. Here's that interledger protocol. This is the full stack behind it in terms of information and value, which is right on par with what they want to do around the internet of value. Short term to replace correspondent banking infrastructure, no. But long term, DLT-based payment protocols are competing in the wholesale and the retail payment space, which can erode established clearing and settlement services provided by central banks and institutions. And yeah, I completely agree. And then down here, potential disruption to wholesale payment systems is crucial. USC could provide a vehicle for settlement within the derivatives market. I can think of a better solution. Outstanding contracts in the OTC derivatives market at the end of Q2 of 2018 was about 595 trillion. Today they're about 1.2 quadrillion dollars. It's absolutely massive. Well, citizens, I hope that you enjoyed. Definitely go check out utility theory, by the way, if you guys haven't already. But then he also responded back to a few other things around this. We do see here, your new report paired with this document they released goes well together to paint the bigger picture. New era for money, and yet the mainstream media just distracts everyone with nonsense. And yeah, I completely agree. And here you guys have citizens. I found an answer in a new document. IMF welcoming US to the money revolution. Crypto regulation, new era for money. And yes, once regulations go live, I told you guys, it's game over. But we don't know. We don't know when this is going to happen. We do see, when do you think the IMF will shift their digital marketing to building or utilizing a central bank digital currency? 2025, 2027, 2030. Nobody really can guess a specific time frame here. And I do think that, listen, it's kind of ridiculous to even try to. But I do, like I've always said, like when we look at the IMF and we look at the shift happening behind the scenes, I think that this is all on par with the designed plan, which is, okay, let's create the problem. We have the solution here. It's DLT, it's CBDCs, it's a tokenized, digitized system. The future is crypto. Crypto is here to stay. We are going to see a revolution like no other. There's two other platforms here in terms of what he does post. Like, for an example, this is a full-on article talking about the fourth industrial revolution. Here we have Rosie Rios from 2022. Enjoyed the future of digitization panel. These are with some significant players as well. The train has left the station. The future is now. Again, kind of centering it out on crypto yet again. All of this, right? As we look at what's happening, we are seeing a new era of money rise. And the foundation is going to be specific DLTs and platforms that are designed and developed for this new system. Quant is at the heart of it as well. I believe that Quant is allowing this all to become a reality. And I also did respond back to utility theory, actually. I said, building on top of these threads with utility theory and myself, here is an additional document from March of this year. Currency usage for cross-border payments. It's extremely clear at this point that the digital revolution is underway. Their plan, this space needs guardrails before they go fully live with these assets/technologies. I've said it time and time again. Many are blinded by nonsense and short-term goals. This market is speculative, but these documents prove the systemic change occurring behind the scenes and the wave this market has made globally. When I talk about XRP, XLM, XDC, QNT, and so many other projects, I always say focus on what's happening outside of the headlines. Almost none of these documents see the light of day unless someone shines a light on them. It's very simple in my mind. Accumulate these utility tokens, wait for the regulatory rug pull of all the trash, and watch as all systems are a-go. Our time is coming. The global elite organizations are preparing. And here we have March 2023, currency usage for cross-border payments. Within this, we do see a digital revolution, right? Recent technological and geopolitical changes may bring faster changes to the international monetary system. Historically, the high degree of inertia of the IMS largely reflects the strong network effects and switching cost. These two factors could be significantly altered by the digital revolution and recent geopolitical tensions. Digitization could substantially reduce switching costs, increase currency competition, and also promote the internationalization of new currencies. Then also, down here as well. This is with more so talking about SWIFT and things like that. With the increasing use of crypto assets and cross-border transactions, particularly for remittances, alternative payment providers built on blockchain technology have emerged, although the recent decline in crypto asset valuations or the failure of various relevant actors have intensified the need for effective policy towards these assets. And then also, over here, there's a few more things around the emergence of digital money, as well as the impact of these new technologies. They're talking more so about CBDCs, which could facilitate rapid currency configuration changes by reducing the cost of switching, though the impact remains highly uncertain. So, they're really kind of planning here. They're still going to run some trials. I do think that this is going to take a little bit of time, like I said. But the best thing about all of these, just like I said in my other post, is not so the connections to some of these assets, but the realization and the confirmation that we are seeing the rise of this new system. And we need to make sure that we are diversified, right? We're rolling the dice here. It could very well be XLM, right? It could be XRP or XLM, or it could be both of them. In my opinion, I believe that both of them will be crucial. But I've been stacking a lot of these utility gems that are connected and tied back to very large organizations. Ripple, right, outside of what XRP is, Ripple is not tied to XRP. XRP is not tied to Ripple. They are completely two different entities, if you will. XRP is the digital currency or digital, asset, if you will. Ripple is the company that is utilizing XRP. As we go back to Ripple and all of the connections to Ripple in the last decade, they're already tied back to the BIS, the ECB, the Bank of England, the IMF, the World Bank, so many players. And a lot of these documents, like what Utility Theory, what he's uncovering here is a lot of connections back to these entities like the IMF. We also have the confirmation that we are seeing the revolution happening. And when I look at a lot of these documents and what they say and what they're mentioning, they're talking about how these currencies, these DLTs, they could essentially save the US and bring about a revolution like no other. While 99% of the general public is just looking at the headline articles and they're like, what the hell am I going to do? The US is doomed. The dollar is dead. Or they're looking at other things around the space, or even what mainstream media is just telling them, or the distractions on the news. Guess what? Things behind the scenes are moving extremely fast, whether you like it or not. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. It's up to you all. Have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are on this. Beautiful. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.